Hey everybody, welcome back. We're diving into some pretty murky political waters today.
Oh, yeah.
The relationship between Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump.
Yeah.
On the surface, McConnell's publicly backing Trump's 2024 run,
Right.
but behind the scenes, things are a lot more complicated.
Absolutely.
We're getting some pretty juicy details from a new biography of McConnell
Uh-huh.
called The Price of Power by Michael Tockett.
Yeah, it's coming out just before the election, too.
Oh, yeah. The timing is perfect, right?
Perfect.
It's adding fuel to an already crazy political fire.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so one thing that really stood out was this quote from McConnell.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and I quote, "If Trump hasn't committed indictable offenses, I don't know what one is."
Wow.
Right?
That's a pretty serious statement,
Yeah.
especially coming from someone like McConnell.
Exactly. He's not some random commentator.
Yeah.
He's a seasoned politician and lawyer.
Right. And to say that about Trump,
Right.
that he thinks he's committed indictable offenses?
Yeah, it's not something you just brush off.
No, not at all.
I mean, what does indictable offense even mean?
Well, basically, it means there's enough evidence
Okay.
to bring formal charges and go to trial.
So for McConnell to say that?
Yeah.
It's like he's implying he knows something we don't.
Possibly.
And this is over a year after the January 6th hearings.
Right.
You'd think if there was concrete evidence, it would come out by now.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
So what do you make of that?
Well, it's a bit of a puzzle, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be that McConnell has some inside information
Uh-huh.
that hasn't been made public yet.
Okay.
Or it could be a strategic move,
Okay.
to plant seeds of doubt about Trump's legal standing
Right.
without actually having to reveal anything specific.
Right. So he's being very careful.
Very careful.
It's politics, remember?
Exactly. Things aren't always black and white.
No, they're not.
Mhm.
So we've got this weird situation.
Yeah.
McConnell's publicly endorsing Trump, showing support, trying to unify the Republican base.
Right?
But then he makes these statements that could seriously hurt Trump's campaign.
It's a contradiction, isn't it?
Yeah, like he's playing both sides.
It highlights the tension between pragmatism and personal belief.
Okay, so explain that.
Well, McConnell might genuinely believe Trump did something wrong.
Okay.
But he also knows Trump's still incredibly popular with a lot of Republicans.
Yeah, you can't deny that.
And if he alienates those voters,
Right.
it could cost the Republicans the election.
So he's trying to walk this tightrope.
Yeah, a very risky tightrope.
Okay, and then the book goes even further.
Oh, yeah.
It reveals the language McConnell apparently used to describe Trump in private. Things like stupid, ill-tempered, narcissistic, even despicable human being.
Yeah, not exactly glowing terms.
No, not at all.
It makes you wonder what their relationship is really like.
Right. Like, are they actually on the same team?
Yeah, is it all just for show?
Exactly. Is there some deep animosity bubbling under the surface?
That's a good question.
So how do we make sense of all of this?
Well, we need to think about the role of power and ambition in politics.
Okay.
Throughout history, you see all these political alliances
Mm-hmm.
that are more about shared interests than actual friendship.
Right. So it's like a temporary truce
Yeah, exactly.
between rivals who need each other to achieve a common goal.
Right. And in this case,
Okay.
the common goal might be keeping the Republican Party in power.
So you're saying McConnell might be putting aside his personal feelings
It's possible.
to protect the party?
He's known for playing the long game,
Oh, yeah.
putting the party's interests above everything else.
He's very strategic.
Very.
Okay, so then the book talks about how McConnell responded to these leaked comments.
Yeah. How did he handle that?
He basically downplayed it all
Oh, really?
by comparing his criticisms to what other Republicans have said, like J.D. Vance and Lindsey Graham.
Oh, interesting.
He's trying to make it seem like his comments were no big deal.
Yeah, classic deflection tactic.
Right, so he's saying, look, other people have been way harsher.
Trying to shift the focus.
Exactly, and present a united front.
Trying to control the narrative.
But does that really work?
Well, it depends.
I mean, the comments are out there
Yeah. And they paint a very different picture.
of the Republican Party.
Exactly.
It's like we're seeing behind the curtain now.
Right. All the cracks are starting to show.
And it makes things even more complicated when you consider
What's that?
people like Vance, who used to oppose Trump.
Right.
Now they're standing beside him.
Seems like they've put their differences aside.
For now, at least.
Yeah, for now.
And then you have Graham, who keeps defending Trump.
Even though he makes those unflattering comparisons.
Yeah, like comparing Mar-a-Lago to North Korea.
It's a strange dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
It feels like a very fragile alliance.
Yeah, like it could fall apart at any moment.
Exactly. And all this tension within the Republican Party,
Uh-huh.
It could make this election even more unpredictable.
Yeah, it's like adding fuel to the fire.
Absolutely.
So what happens to the Republican Party after this?
That's the big question.
Can they really come together?
Or will they split?
It feels like they're at a crossroads.
Yeah, trying to balance traditional conservatism with Trump's populism.
And McConnell's right in the middle of it all.
Yeah, trying to appease everyone.
It's a dangerous game.
Very dangerous.
It makes you wonder how long he can keep it up.
At some point, he might have to choose a side.
And that could change everything.
For him and the whole party.
It's like a political thriller.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen next.
This whole situation really highlights
What's that?
the conflict between personal beliefs and political strategy.
It's a dilemma a lot of politicians face.
Do you stay true to yourself, or do you compromise to gain power?
That's the question.
It seems like McConnell's chosen power for now.
At least for now.
And it raises some ethical questions.
Yeah.
Is it ever okay to support someone you think is unfit for office?
Just because they're in your party.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope.
It really makes you think about our political system.
About how far we're willing to go.
To win.
Where's the line between strategy and integrity?
It's a tough question.
With no easy answers.
But it's a question we need to ask.
If we want a better democracy,
We can't just accept things at face value.
we need to think critically.
And hold our leaders accountable.
That's what we're trying to do here today.
To give you the information you need.
To navigate this crazy political world.
To be an active participant.
Not just a passive observer.
And with this whole McConnell-Trump situation,
yeah,
it's crucial to understand how it might affect the election.
it really makes you think.
It does.
Will McConnell's endorsement actually help Trump, even though we know about his doubts?
Yeah,
Or could this tension actually hurt Trump's chances?
that's a fascinating question.
McConnell's a powerful figure.
No doubt.
His endorsement matters.
Especially to diehard Republicans.
But voters are getting smarter.
Yeah,
They can tell when someone's not being genuine.
when their words and actions don't match up.
And that could be a problem for McConnell.
Definitely something to watch.
So we'll have to see if his support is enough to get Trump elected.
It adds another layer of complexity to this election.
It's going to be an interesting ride.
Oh, for sure.
And it makes me think about the future of the Republican Party.
What do you mean?
Can they really overcome this divide?
Yeah,
Or is this the beginning of the end?
only time will tell.
But this is a defining moment.
Absolutely.
The choice is made now.
Will have consequences for years to come.
So what's the takeaway?
What should people keep in mind?
Stay informed.
Yeah.
Engage in thoughtful discussions.
Don't be afraid to talk about politics.
And hold our leaders accountable.
They work for us.
Our democracy depends on it.
An informed and engaged citizenry.
That's the key.
Remember,
What we talked about today.
is just a small piece of the puzzle.
There's always more to learn.
Keep digging.
Keep asking questions.
Don't just accept the easy answers.
The more informed we are
The better equipped we'll be.
to face the challenges ahead.
That's right.
So until next time,
Yeah.
get those brains working.
Happy deep diving, everyone.
See ya.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're seeing this alliance. That's more about strategy than genuine agreement.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
they're all on the same team for now.
But underneath it all,
Yeah.
there's all this friction
Like, they're just waiting for the right moment.
to break apart.
Yeah, so what happens to the Republican Party after all of this plays out?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It feels like they're at a crossroads.
Yeah, trying to figure out who they are,
Right.
how to balance these traditional conservative values with this populist movement that Trump brought in,
And McConnell's right there in the middle.
trying to hold it all together,
Yeah, trying to please everyone.
which is impossible.
Pretty much.
It's a delicate balancing act.
And it could all come crashing down.
It makes you wonder how long he can keep this up.
Yeah. At some point, he might have to choose a side.
And that decision could have huge consequences.
For him and the whole party.
Absolutely.
It's crazy how much power one person can have.
It's true.
Their decisions can shape the future
Of the country.
of the party.
Of everything.
This whole situation with McConnell and Trump, it
Yeah.
really shows the conflict between personal beliefs
Mhm.
and political pragmatism.
It's a struggle so many politicians face.
Do you do what you think is right?
Or what's best for your career.
What's best for your party?
It's tough.
And in this case, it seems like McConnell,
Yeah.
he's chosen the party over his own beliefs.
At least for now.
It makes you think
It does.
about the choices we make
As voters,
as citizens,
how much are we willing to tolerate?
just to win.
Where do we draw the line?
Between strategy,
And integrity.
it's something we all need to consider.
Because ultimately,
Our democracy depends on it.
we need to hold our leaders accountable
Other actions.
for their decisions
And for the choices they make.
that affect all of us.
That's what we're trying to do here.
To give you the information you need.
To understand what's really going on.
To make informed choices.
Because knowledge is power.
And in this case,
knowledge about McConnell and Trump
could be the key to understanding
how this election might unfold. Yeah, will McConnell's support actually help Trump win?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
I mean, we know he has his doubts.
Right.
So are voters going to see through that?
It's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, McConnell is influential.
Yeah.
Especially with the Republican base.
Right, those hardcore Republicans.
Yeah, they trust him.
But voters in general are more aware these days.
More informed.
They can sense when something's off.
When a politician's not being straight with them.
Yeah, like when their actions don't match their words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this whole situation with McConnell and Trump,
yeah,
it definitely raises some red flags.
So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah. Will McConnell's support be enough?
Or will it backfire?
We'll have to wait and see.
It just adds another layer of intrigue to this election.
It's a wild ride.
And it makes you think about the bigger picture.
About what?
The future of the Republican Party.
Oh, right.
Can they really move forward after all of this?
Can they bridge this divide?
Or are we witnessing a permanent split?
It's hard to say.
But it's a pivotal moment.
For sure.
The decisions made now will have lasting consequences.
Absolutely.
So what can we learn from all of this?
I think the biggest takeaway is stay informed.
Yes.
Don't just accept what you see on the surface.
Dig deeper.
Ask questions.
Think critically.
Exactly.
Our democracy depends on it.
It really does.
And remember, this is just one piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, we've only scratched the surface here.
There's so much more to explore.
So keep learning.
Keep questioning.
And keep those conversations going.
Because the more informed we are,
the better prepared we'll be
to face whatever challenges come our way.
That's right.
Well, that's it for today.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.